Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Healed and Chilled. And today we have yet another awesome and amazing, wonderful special guest. And you know how we like to do it here. I like for the guest to have control of the narrative. So, if you would, in your own words, from your own point of view, can you please introduce yourself and we'll dive right into the interview?
Okay, how y'all doing? My name is Terrell, aka Mr. Kleen. I'm an artist here in Atlanta, Georgia, and have something to introduce to the world that's very nice.
Absolutely. So, tell us a little bit more about what you have to introduce to the world. We love nice things for sure.
Well, basically, with me, I've been an artist for a long time. I've been doing music for many years.
Hmm.
You have your ups and downs and things of that nature. So, basically, what brings me up to date from what I've been doing, the norm, you rapping your life, your story, and things of that nature. So, about uh 11 years ago in 2014, I created my own lane called athletic hip hop,
Okay.
which I do custom jingle theme songs for athletes. Like when you're watching a fight and you see the athletes walk out to a song, it's not their song. So I write songs are custom
Mm.
made to them. And I just had a video recently went viral on YouTube for
Oh,
Jake
wow.
Paul.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you get into making, because that's such a interesting niche. I've never met anybody who does that before, to be honest. So like, how did you fall into that? Did it just naturally occur? Like, what's the story there?
What is just doing shows. I had a couple production deals through the years. I worked it with some hot producers. I'm making regular music, right? When you go to these talent shows, 'cause I've done shows in a lot of places. Everybody got the same story. They're
Yeah.
good, get money. It's the same thing. And when I see these other artists, I say, okay, he's an MC. Okay, he's a rapper, and he's an artist. Those are three different people. When you look at an MC, he's a master ceremony. He controls the crowd. A rapper, he
Okay.
raps lyrics, tells you stories, but an artist thinks outside the box. He's everything in one. That's what I
Mm,
consider myself as. So I wanted to do something that would challenge my mental, and nobody has ever done.
mm.
So that's what made me come up with the athletic thing. And the first one I did and uploaded to YouTube was one for John Bones Jones, the UFC fighter. I just stepping out on
Okay.
faith with that. And they were going to fly me to New York to walk out with him, but something happened in his personal testing that set everything back. But the
Oh,
video
okay.
did almost 163,000 views in 2014.
What?
So by me seeing that, I said, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going. So I have two
Mm-hmm.
YouTube channels. I have an older one and I have a newer one, and I'm thankful, because people like what I'm doing. So that's how I got into that.
Yeah. So what attracted you to music in the first place? Because there's so many different ways that we can express ourselves, our creativity, our artistry, whether that's visual or books or music and rapping and singing. So what about music specifically made you say, "Oh, I want to do this"?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. The great LL Cool J influenced me. When
Okay.
I first see the I'm Bad video, I knew that's what I wanted to be. And it just his working out, the way he was in shape, and the way he would flow and put words together. And plus, I was
Mm-hmm.
always a writer. I always had a gift that I didn't know it till I got older because I was an A student who was writing journals. So
Mm.
through the years as well, from writing, I published my first book in '09. That's
Okay.
on Amazon. So, I just kept going, man. And anything you practice that you get better at.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So
Started,
perfecting your craft over the time.
so people like him, Big Daddy Kane, Run DMC, you know, Nas, Biggie, Jay-Z, you know, guys that had lyrics. AZ, he's underrated. I like people
Mm-hmm.
with substance that tell stories. And I would
Mm,
challenge myself because I want people to feel me like they did them, you know?
right.
That's pretty much what got me into it. I just stuck with it ever since, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just heard you also mention that you had a book. So can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about that as well?
Well, the book is called I Had Hope. It took me 3 years to write it.
Mm,
Started writing it in 2006. Had a little setback. And one thing my pops always told me was when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade.
I
So I
know that's
started
right.
writing a book in 2006, and it was published in 2009. Took me 3 years.
Mm,
My father passed away in 2009 in
oh,
February,
sorry.
so I promised him that I would get it done. And it was published August of '09.
Mm,
There's such a lot of people, and I got a song that goes with the book as well. It's called I Had Hope. It's autobiography of my life. You know,
mm,
situation I had to have hope to overcome, you know, inspirational.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for one, sorry for your loss. And then for two, I think that being able to articulate your story and then naming it like I had hope and things of that magnitude. I think that that definitely speaks to like what you were saying about how your music and things you want to have substance. So was this a pattern in your life? Like, did you learn this as a child or was having perseverance and hope, was that something that you had to learn along the way as life did what it does?
Well, when I got older, I started realizing, like, man, I thought about situations. I'm like, okay, I see where I had to sit back and think on this situation and how I had to overcome that
Mm,
situation. And it all just came to me, man. And I can remember being, in fourth and fifth grade that me and my friend, he's dead and gone now, but we used to do these rhymes. We used to write these little poems, and we had this
hmm
little party rap. And everybody like, oh, Sherelle can rap, So I just kept going. It was just something that I guess it was God. Well, I know it was God given, you know.
hmm
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
thankful,
So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And at the end of the day, I like how you put that too, because life is always dishing out different things, whether it's what we perceive good at the moment or bad in the moment. But every situation, if you can take away a lesson and learn from it and apply it into
uh-huh.
your life, then you can move forward. So is that a philosophy that you can't like sometimes things like just have to happen so that you realize over time like you said you get older and it's like okay well this is just how life is, or was it something specific that made you say you know what like this is what my hand is and this is how I'm going to turn this into something like a book and songs and even like recreate and make songs for athletes. Like that seems like a pattern of um I guess like adapting and like changing it up and reinventing is what I'm trying to say.
But yeah, yeah. See, when I did my first shows, and I seen how the crowd reacted, and how people would say, "Man, oh man, you dope, you so nice, your song touched me." That's when I knew, okay, so I'm doing something right. And when I
Mm-hmm.
would see views on my videos, like, wow, I didn't know that many people, so it just kept
Right.
me going. I always had a hunger for it. And then due
Mm-hmm.
to the environment in which you come, everybody always tried to be better. There was a lot of originality. So if you think you're doing something, this person will say, okay, what's I come with this? Oh, okay, I like the bar
Right.
he spit, which I spit mine. So it was more of a good competition type of thing.
Right.
Plus you had the culture of dressing, looking nice, and it all
Mm.
coincide. And I just love the hip hop. Just love the culture. I love it.
Yeah.
So
So
just
what
I take
yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Chris.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, see the thing about it, I just learned how to take bad situations and write about it,
Mm.
because I feel like somebody has went through this. And so I went through it for somebody else. And that's what drew me to
Yeah.
Tupac. With Pac, you can always get a story and you're like, man, I went through that. I went through that. But just
Mm-hmm.
coming up under those guys' umbrella, it just made me a better writer. It made me a better storyteller because of the guys who paved the way for me.
Mm. Okay. And why is it important in your view to pave the way for who comes behind? Like, because some people they get on and it's like, okay, I just want to do it because I want to stunt on them. I want to, and there's nothing wrong with stunning, but at the same time, um, why is it so important for you to be someone that also paves the way for whoever comes behind you?
You said why is it important for me?
Mm-hmm.
What the thing about it, anytime you have doubters, anytime it's just with me though, I just want to touch people. I want to spark people's brains. I
Mm-hmm.
want to, what I'm saying, put something positive out there. And that's why, even with this athletic hip hop I started, it's a lot of violence going on. These
Yep.
kids walking around 13, 14 years old with guns and stuff. Now, when I was that age, I wouldn't think about no gun.
Yep.
So I feel like they try to water it down. They're trying to desensitize the youth.
Yep.
So I get this movement going. Put down the guns, pick up the gloves. So I come up
Mm.
old school. We used to throw hands back then. These guys now shoot you in a minute,
Yep.
over a song. Like, back in the day, they
Yep.
battled and kept it on wax. So I want to help clean up the culture.
Mm.
That's why I do it too. Not to outshine nobody, not to, you know, okay, not to outshine nobody, not to be the next nobody, just be the first me. You
Mm.
tap into self and you realize who you are and whose you are, you have
Mm.
peace.
Yep.
So I just want to be an asset, not a liability to the culture.
Absolutely. And for me, as a children's confidence coach, I definitely resonate with that. I always
Hmm.
tell people I feel like there's a war on innocence right now, specifically with children, whether it's about, like you said, desensitizing them to violence or making children want to do things that they ain't got no business doing one way or the other. So
Hmm.
I definitely salute you for that mission and definitely am in full support. We are coming up a little bit on the not the end, but kind of like towards the halfway-ish point a little bit. So I just wanted
Uh,
to also check in and see like, is there anything specific? Of course, I always have a million questions, but is there anything specific that you wanted to highlight? And we can pivot a little bit.
oh, even far as yeah, I wanted to highlight on the putting out positive energy.
Yes.
There's so much going on, positive energy, man. No matter what goes on, don't yield and fold to the circumstances.
Mm,
We all go through something, but just keep the faith. Sometimes when you're feeling down, you have to tell your feelings how to feel. Like if you're
mm,
feeling down, well, I'm happy today. You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Even when you don't feel like it. And I believe this life and death in your tongue. I believe a lot of times
Mm,
people speak their own condemnation. Words are very
yep.
powerful. You know. So me, I would say just positive energy because it's well needed.
Yep.
Positive energy. You know? But sorry
Yeah.
about all
I
this
do.
too.
Oh, no, 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 you good, you good, you good, you good. I'm just because sometimes I ask questions really fast, so I'm just trying to make sure that you finish before I jump in there. But no, I definitely agree. I think that there's so much negativity in the world that
Right.
we have to purposefully create, and I like to say purposely pour positivity into ourselves. And so that's part of the reason why I even started doing these interviews and things, just because at the pandemic, it was like everywhere you look, there was negative, just craziness
Negative.
happening. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe we can just come over here, we can talk. These started out as Instagram lives and now switched to the podcast setting. But I definitely agree. And to what you said, that there is power and death in the tongue.
Yep.
And sometimes it's easy to slip, especially when you're someone who's concerned about fixing everything in the entire world and thinking about, oh, the people across the world are doing this and that. And then sometimes you start to feel powerless. But when you can impact those right around you, you can impact yourself, you can impact your community, you can impact your culture, and then you start to feel empowered. So I'm curious, was there something that occurred over your life that made you say, hey, you know what, I want to be a vessel for good and promoting positivity, or is this some a way you've always been?
Well, I bumped my head before too. We all have
Yeah,
had shortcomings, but I'm the type of person, it only take me one time. It don't take me three and four times to learn,
that part.
you know.
Hmm.
Uh, and then plus I learned from other people's mistakes. I got
Yeah,
guys I knew growing up, some guys done some crazy stuff, got life in prison. I'm like, oh wow. Um, just lose, I've had a lot of funerals I went to, just losing
mm,
close people that I knew, friends. And so, it's just, you don't, I just don't like negative energy. That's my whole thing.
right.
I don't like negative environments. So I said, okay, look, if I can help out with a situation to be a voice, give somebody some advice, you see a kid going astray, talk to him.
Yep.
Don't try to disrupt them, because when I was coming up and you're on
Yes.
the block, you're on the block, them OGs will tell you, man, take your butt to school. Well, let me catch you out here no more.
Yep.
Now it's like it's no village raising a child. It's just
Nope.
they don't care. I'm gonna
Yep.
tell you what the problem really is, but I don't want to get too deep in the show.
Well, hey,
I,
you
I,
can go as deep as you want to go.
okay, check it
I,
out. Um, the problem is, I don't know how old you are, but when we were coming up, the grandparents were in their 50s and 60s, right?
mm,
Now they're in their 30s. So instead
mm,
of big mama, you got little mama, right? So
yeah.
what could little mama tell her granddaughter? She's 30 years old. I mean, she can't tell her how to bake no pies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the reason why I'm saying that is because you got a 20 to 30-year gap of wisdom going down the drain. And I
Mm,
believe a lot of these kids are born into that.
yeah.
No structure, no discipline. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm
Mm,
just saying, like, if you look at now, it's totally different. See, back when I was coming up, the school, you can get whooping at school.
what?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah, you can get. I'm not saying, a lot of it was right, but it made us better kids. We had to get
Mm,
home before the street lights was on.
mm,
Now you might go to the store and see a 12-year-old kid out there at 10 o'clock at night.
oh
So it's just, to
wow.
me, it's just this, the family structure is going
Yeah.
to some
Uh,
degree.
yeah, I definitely can see how in certain situations the family structure is, dissolving, and I think it's one of those things when it comes to I don't know, because my mom and I, we talk about this too. Like, I don't know if it's like when you lean more towards like developed country type thing where everybody is independent and has to get it on their own and not necessarily like relying on others. I think that to a degree, everyone, like I said, just wants to get it on their own. And sometimes it's easy to forget that everybody needs somebody, everybody needs community, but also, I think that to flip it and add an alternative perspective, I think that there was a lot of um, things that could be considered like toxic in family structures that were
Right. Exactly.
allowed to go on and on. And I think that there are people who are like, you know what, I'd rather do it on my own than deal with the toxicness of this other stuff. So I think in general, like all the communities across the, the world really, but especially specifically like the Black community as well, there needs to be like a lot of healing and conversations to really dissect
Preach.
what is going on and why is
Preach.
this happening and why are we taking the demonizing men and demonizing women. Like, we're all here together in this country, in this world, and I think that we need a lot of healing.
But you know what? To piggyback on what you're saying, you're absolutely right. And I just posted some on my YouTube channel last night about that. Um, the problem is everybody see different. Okay. Let me give
Hmm.
you a prime example. It looked like the wall in your room is red, right?
Hmm.
You know, you said it's red, but somebody will tell you it's green and look at you like you're crazy. And we're looking at the same wall. That's the problem. Everybody see different. And once, if we can get people on one accord, right, then we'll have peace on earth. But
Yeah.
how do we do that? How do we do that when there's so much? We have this thing called social media now, and
Yeah.
social media is a platform for you to promote your business for something positive, not to tell people, look at me, look what I'm eating today, or look, I'm in Hawaii, or
Fair
no, I'm not
enough.
knocking that, but it ain't for
Yeah.
that. And I think we took it and corrupted it. Now you can go in there and kids can go in there and see people would have, new clothes on, or there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just hope it gets better.
Yeah. I think that, excuse me, I think it's like there's a space where it is getting better, and then there's a space where it's getting worse.
Right.
And I think that that's why it's so important for people like you, people like myself, people like just in the community, regardless of whatever community that is, that are purposefully pouring positivity into ourselves, into the community, into the youth, because um there's just so much happening right now in the world. And so I think it's so important that we have these kinds of conversations, that we have these dialogues. And to add to what you're saying, this wall is actually pink. So I it's not even red. It looks red from your perspective because of the
Yeah.
lighting, but it's actually pink.
Right.
So
Right.
I think, like, to add to what you're saying, even if we all have different opinions and things, if we could all agree on the most important things, that like kids need to be safe, kids need to be protected. How we get there,
Mhm.
we can agree to disagree on certain things, but there's certain things that we can all say, hey, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't need to be happening. So, how do we get there though? I think we just keep having these conversations, and the more stuff that we pour out into the world, hopefully it'll make a difference. So, can you highlight a little bit more? You've mentioned your YouTube channel a number of times. What type of content do you typically post on there? And like, what if someone were to look it up, what would they find?
Well, you know what? It's a sports channel. I talk a
Mm.
lot about upcoming fights. I put people on to upcoming boxers that they may have not been aware
Mm.
about. I'm sorry. And then when I'll switch it up, I'll give you a positive message. Like if I'm feeling something's going on in the world today, so it's a little bit of both, but it's my personality, up close and personal situation. So, but it's mainly a sports channel.
Okay.
Like if you're the heavyweights was dead for a minute. So now I'm trying to put people back on to upcoming fighters that's
Mm.
the face of boxing right now.
Yeah.
It's like an informal type of
Okay.
channel.
And that I totally understand that too. And that kind of it really coincides with what you were saying, like put the guns and things down and pick up some gloves. So
Yeah.
I definitely rock with that too.
Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. A lot of these kids want to be a part of a gang or something because they want a family. They want to fit
Yes.
in. Maybe somebody's picking
Yes.
on them at school. And so they go
Yes. Or
join.
at home.
Right, yep. And so they get out there and they talk to little, Johnny. Hey man, you can join the gang or whatever. And so now he's with these older guys. They give him a gun.
Mm.
So now he's feeling invincible.
Yeah.
You know. And even when he go home, his parents tell him to sit down. He telling him to shut up because he feel like he got protection from his own
Yeah.
parents. You know. And it goes like that. But see, the thing about it, what they don't understand is that trouble is easy to get in, but hard to get out of.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
one,
Yes. Yes.
one mistake can set you back 25 years of your life. One mistake.
Mm.
You know.
Wow.
So my father always told me, he said, "Man, if you can't be told, you can be showed." That's how I was raised.
Mm.
Yeah. So,
Mm. If you can't
um,
be told, who? Yes.
you know, I come up old school, man. I had uncles, aunts on both sides.
Hmm.
You know, we had chores to do on Saturday. You can start in place. We do our chores.
Hmm.
Now there's no chores.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah,
That is true.
you originally, where you originally from?
So yeah, I'm originally from the DMV area, Maryland. So yeah, I've lived in a number of different states and things. Like I told you, I used to live in Atlanta, but I definitely see like what you're saying, even so through here too, because when I was much younger, we had like a everybody was always coming together and doing events and things. And now we still do it, but it's definitely not as much. I think also with life and like bills and stresses of
Oh,
things, sometimes people forget that the other aspects of life too. So I definitely hear what you're saying for real.
yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
I've been in New York 3 times. I've never been to that area right there.
Oh yeah. Fair enough. All right. So I'm just curious since you asked that question, did you have any other questions for me that you're curious about before I
Yeah.
get us
So, yeah, with your platform, sorry to interrupt you.
No,
With
you
your
good.
platform, do you have a YouTube channel, Instagram?
Yeah, so so just to give you a little bit more of a background. So I do these podcasts a little bit separate from the other things that I do because I'm a children's confidence coach. And so
Mhm.
this part of I think what I know, part of raising confident children is helping parents as well. So I created this podcast as like a branch to give parents some positivity as well. And sometimes I have like interviews like this, or sometimes I'm just sharing tips and things based on what I've learned about children as being a confidence coach. So,
Right.
yeah, I have all that at the Laptop Life Coach, and I've dedicated my life really to helping children become the best that they can be, whatever that
Mhm.
means, and also helping their parents and guardians recognize, that we're in a different space. It's a different world and helping them to
Right.
navigate so that we can keep those family bonds and things. So thanks for asking.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know it's, when it's pretty much everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like pretty much the same everywhere, the crime,
Hmm.
the chaos is everywhere. I tell people all the time, you can't let the negativity consume you because it was a
Exactly.
time I was watching the news every day. I had to bag up from it for a minute.
Oof.
You know,
Yeah.
let me be informed, but I don't want to be conformed.
Yes, there's a thin line. There's a
Sure.
thin line.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, this has been, I do have I end with like three cliche questions because we are coming up on the tail end. But before that, is there anything that you really wanted to discuss that you haven't yet had the opportunity to talk about?
Well, in this, yeah, the certain things about the music business,
Mm,
I've met, I've had good and bad experiences. I've met a
mm,
lot of people that like to name drop, like, well,
mm,
I'm such and such cousin, or I'm this and that. And what I want to tell people, if you don't have a love for it, do not start it because
mm,
it's up and down, and it's easy to say I'm throwing the towel if you're not dedicated, if you don't have a love for it.
right.
Love the music, love the craft, love the art. Then the money gonna come.
Mm,
There's a lot of people getting in it for the money, like a quick fix.
mm-hmm,
And that's what I want to tell some people because everybody want to be an artist, but they don't know what it takes to be one.
right. That's
You
real.
know, now, it was a time back in the day where the labels would put all this money into an artist, but
Mm,
what sounds good to them might not sound good to the audience. So they was wasting a
yep.
lot of money. So now they want you to have your own following and everything, and then they'll put the money down because you want to
Oh,
invest in something
wow.
that's moving. Yeah,
Mm,
that's what's going on now, and that's kind of a good thing with social media. You could do a lot of stuff on your own.
yep.
You know? So
Yep.
there's really no excuse.
Hmm.
So
Well,
this what I want to say. I want to tell people, to keep. If you have a dream, keep going, keep pursuing it. Mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. And I appreciate you being real about that too, because at the end of the day, something that I think that one way that I like separate who's who is like how honest are you about the process of where you got? And so you saying and being real, like, hey, this is not an overnight, next day you're in kind of
Oh,
thing. So much appreciated there. Alrighty. So I like to close off with three cliche questions that I
mhm.
definitely ask everyone. You
Okay.
kind of answered the first one previously, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. So
Mhm.
if you can think of a time when you were younger and in a dark space, what's one piece of advice that you know now that you wish you knew back then?
That's a great question. That's a good question. I would say, stay focused,
Mm,
no matter how it looks, no matter how, just stay focused. Don't fold.
mm.
And the reason why I'm saying that because there were some situations I had to do that in when I was younger,
Yep.
and you might have to, deal with a bully or um, be in a situation to where you might have went over somebody's house and you just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Somebody get
Yep.
killed.
Oh,
Just stay focused. Don't fold.
wow.
And I think that um, right there to help people out in life in any situation.
Hmm. Yep.
Don't panic. Just stay focused. Stay focused. I'm sorry.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. That could be applied to a number, excuse me, a number of things. So, my second cliche question
Mhm.
is the internet works in mysterious ways, much like the universe. So, we never know who's going to listen to this at any point in time. Is there
True.
anyone or organization or person specifically that you would really like to work with if they did hear this?
Eminem. I just did a Detroit
Mm,
Lions song for my team. I did a jingle. If you go to my YouTube, matter of fact, I'll send everything over to you.
yeah, of
Check out the
course.
jingle. If Pac was alive, I would want to work with Tupac. Um, want to work with J. Cole. Of course, the great LL Cool J.
Mm,
You know, but just I want to make sure I ain't forget nobody. Big Crit. Before he blew up, he the one made the track to my song "I Had Hope." I worked with him when he was local.
mm,
Yeah, so I
okay.
want to work with him again. This is all I can think of right now.
Okay, okay. Well, that's a good list. All right. And the final question, of course, I'll put the links they send, of course, in the description. But if anybody wants to work with you, stay tuned. What's the best way to get in contact with you? And then what's the best way to stay updated?
Well, like I said, I would say go to my YouTube because all my channels are linked from my YouTube, and just hit me up, send me a email. My email is on there, and I'll respond very promptly to that. IG, whatever. Just hit me up on one of those platforms, and I'll definitely
All
respond.
right. Wonderful. All right. And so before we go, because I know sometimes at the end it's like, oh, whoops, I didn't mean to talk about this. I did do that or whatever. Is there anything that you're like, oh, I wish I mentioned this, but I didn't?
Um, this might be a little bit uh far-fetched, but I'm gonna say schizophrenia because I got a relative that's living with me that's going through that, and it's kind of taking a
Hmm.
lot out of me. Um, uh, Mental illness is real.
Yeah.
And so if anybody going through that situation, I would tell them, don't just understand that it's not them. It's something controlling them. I don't want to get too deep,
Yeah.
but schizophrenia is real. Mental illness is real. And a lot of times in our community, we look over that. You know what I'm saying? So if anyone in your family has it or you have it, go get some help or give them some help.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's really real, and I appreciate you for sharing that, and just I appreciate you for the entire conversation. I'm going to give you, like I give my students and guests, a signature round of applause for a
Thank you so
great
much.
conversation, openness, honesty, and all that. It was definitely a pleasure having you on. Of course, you're welcome to come back whenever you feel like it, or if you have anything you want to discuss. And like I said, it was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much. And I'm sorry about that. I know Dom had to remind me of this interview, and it kind of slipped my mind 'cause I'd be so busy. But I said I'm gonna still make it happen anyway, even while I'm working.
Period. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you do, like I said, you do not have to apologize. Life happens. As long as we get it done, that's all that matters at the end of the day. So it was a
All right.
pleasure.
All right.
All
Quickly,
right.
what is your
Hold
IG
on.
and stuff?
Hold on. Wait, we're still recording. I'll get you that at
Oh,
the
I'm
end. Hold on
sorry.
one
Sorry.
second. No, you good. You good. You good. All right, guys. I know I got a lot out of this interview. I hope that you guys did as well. Again, the description will have all the links and things, and we'll see you guys for the next episode of Healed and Chilled.